Whilst cruising continues to be the focus of a media fear and smear campaign, it's proving to be a safer alternative than existing on land. Plus the one significant change that will determine when cruising can resume down under. I'm Adrian, the Cruise and Travel Guy. As always, thank you for subscribing to my channel, and if you haven't done so yet, please hit that subscribe button. This week, the Australian arm of Carnival Cruise Lines, Carnival Cruises Australia, announced the further suspension of their local deployment. No doubt spurred into action by the wave of Omicron cases currently affecting Australia, Carnival decided to pull the pin on its earliest planned voyages. Departures on Sydney's Splendor have been cancelled through to and including April 26th, and on Brisbane's Spirit through to and including April 28th. As before, there is a certain expectation that P&O Australia will follow suit, but as at the time of recording, nothing had been firmly announced. In a recent interview with Travel Daily, CLIA Managing Director Joel Katz said, "It's time governments recognise that cruising has gone above and beyond most other sectors during this pandemic and ended the different treatment that hurts travel industry professionals so deeply. No setting is immune from COVID-19, and we are indeed seeing cases being detected on cruise ships. The difference, however, is that cruise ships are subject to stringent, science-based measures that include testing and vaccination requirements before boarding." His comments highlight the discrimination that the cruise industry is suffering when it comes to this virus. The simple fact is that apart from international borders, there are very few places that mandate negative tests and vaccinations for entry. Here in New South Wales in Australia, most of us are obliging with state regulations that require QR code check-ins for most businesses and establishments. And every day, thousands and thousands of people are notified via the app that they have been in close proximity to someone later diagnosed with COVID-19. Because of course there is no requirement to have a negative test to go to your local shopping centre, the movie theatre or restaurants. People receiving an alert that they've been near a confirmed case are simply told to monitor for symptoms and get tested if any develop, but otherwise can continue with their lives as normal. Conversely, boarding a ship requires a negative test, and once on board, health and wellness protocols are some of the most stringent anywhere in the world, and most certainly when compared to other travel environments. According to CLIA, the number of positive cases identified on board ships is remarkably smaller than those identified on land, and the majority of those cases are mild or asymptomatic, posing little to no burden on ship medical resources. On home soil, the most significant determining factor about when cruising will return to our shores is hinged on legislation that is currently sitting with the Federal Parliament. Cruise Weekly reported that the Biosecurity Amendment Enhanced Risk Management Bill will bring reform to government powers when it comes to strengthening health measures from an international arrivals perspective. One of these measures would allow federal authorities to delay the disembarkation of a cruise ship by up to 12 hours to allow a risk assessment to take place. The bill's explanatory statement indicates that these changes are likely to be in place before cruising resumes down under, which begs the question about when this legislation will pass. Parliament won't meet again until early February, with only 5 sitting days scheduled before the end of March, and a further reading and debate is required in the House of Representatives, whilst 2 more are required in the Senate. Assuming that the bill successfully passes in both houses of Parliament before the end of March, that doesn't leave much buffer time before April and May are here and for a planned cruising resumption at that time. On the positive side though, at least we finally have something tangible that we can focus on as to when cruising will resume in Australia. In the US, amidst the barrage of media headlines about the number of positive cases on board ships, the CDC is finally dropping its conditional sailing order. The CSO was put in place in order to supply a framework to the cruise industry as to how to recommence cruising from the United States, and covered everything from simulated voyages through to restricted voyages. Though many cruise lines have gone beyond the requirements of the CSO and will likely continue to do so after it ends on January 15th, the closure of this chapter marks an important milestone for the cruise industry. The notion that cruising can be treated in the same way as any other land or air-based travel environment is something that Australians can only wish for. Well, that's it for this week's cruise news update. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. If you are looking at booking a cruise, perhaps from mid-2022 and beyond, head to my website, thecruiseandtravelguide.com.au. If you haven't done so already, you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Cruise and Travel Guide. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. It's proving that it's actually a safer place to be than land. Whilst cruising continues to be the focus of media fear and smear campaigns, the truth is that exists on home soil, the most significant something, the notion that cruising can be treated in the same way as any other travel. The notion that